I had just last week hit 10K MRR with my Saas, and it's been just about 2 years since I launched my first project, and I thought that I would share a couple thoughts with you while the iron's hot, while I'm in this state, and a couple of things that I think are crucial for making it work in the indie hacking, in the bootstrap founder space. Because the first thing I want to say is stop selling the majority of your time for money, because you don't even need that much money. What you want to do is, instead of working whatever 40, 50 hours a week at a job and then using like the droplets of effort remaining at the end of the night to putting that into your project, you want to flip it the other way. You want to shift from having a job to doing contract work and make it, sort of structure it in a way where you only have to work 15 hours a week to pay for your expenses, and then use the rest of your time to build your thing or your project. That's how you want to do it. Like, flip it, because otherwise it's just going to take way too long, and if it takes a long time for you to get these results, you're just going to get discouraged. It just becomes harder to work if you're not getting any validation, unless you're a psychopath. Okay, the second thing I want to bring up is that no matter how many books you read, no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how how many good strategies you discover that have worked for other people, at the end of the day, they're not going to work exactly the same way for you and your product, for many different reasons. Part of it is everyone executes differently. So one strategy produces different results for different people because of how well they can execute it. Also, it just varies by product. Like, some products, this strategy works better for this one versus another one. So you'll never get to the top just by mimicking what's been already done. I think mimicking is a good starting point, but ultimately you're gonna have to make your own discoveries by doing the work. For example, the way I scaled from being a 3K MRR to 10K plus MRR was by randomly discovering this guy who's never made any TikToks, who was in his 50s, who struggled to make his first few TikToks. I had to guide him along the way a bunch, but I thought, let me just try it. And he posts a video and it gets 5 million views. And I was like, man, I'm onto something here. So I started hiring older creators and I started building them from zero. And that's how I scaled my product to 10K MRR. Did I ever read about TikTok strategy for Saas? Of course. But did anyone ever tell me that I should be hiring people in their 50s specifically? No. In fact, it's counterintuitive, and most people don't do that because it sounds like a bad idea, because you're gonna have to micromanage them a bunch, at least at the start, and they don't get TikTok, they didn't grow up with it, right? But it worked for me. And the way I got to this discovery was just by doing a lot of work. What I find is, if you just keep shooting arrows, some of them start landing, and often they land not by your design, it happens randomly, and then you extract a lesson out of that, you double down on it, and that's what takes you places. But if you are working 40-hour weeks at your job and you're only allocating a couple hours a day to your project, you're just going to be moving too slow to make these discoveries. That's why my message here is, you want to create as much time as possible for you to build and to discover, and you do that by rearranging your lifestyle, by picking up contract work instead of having a job, by just doing a lot of tests and just grinding. I personally believe that success is inevitable to those who are consistently working and putting in the work and asking questions and going out of their way to new places, whether it's in-person meetings, coffees, conferences, or just online, reading blog posts, and then not just reading to feel motivated, but reading to extract and apply. That's the difference. How quickly are you extracting and applying? Or are you just reading stuff, watching stuff to feel this dopamine rush, to pretend like you made progress just because you had this internal discovery, and never applying it? That's bullshit. Like, I think that's what a lot of people do. And I used to do that too. Like I call them these intellectual orgasms. Like, yeah, like they feel good, but they're not gonna get you where you want to go. They're not gonna take you on the adventure you want to go on. Anyways, a couple thoughts I would share. Drop in the comments and tell me what your favorite part was, and then we'll go from there.